Hi everyone! Today I thought I would film my second trimester pregnancy update. It's a bit of a mouthful. I haven't filmed weekly updates with this pregnancy, mostly because I still have had quite a lot of anxiety around doing anything like pregnancy related, so I didn't want to tempt fate, even though I know that it's got nothing to do with the health of this pregnancy, it's just like a mental thing for me. But I have been making notes on my phone whenever I've felt certain pregnancy signs or whenever something's happened. I've been writing it all down on my phone so that I don't forget how I have felt and what has happened in the second trimester of my pregnancy. So I've got a list on my phone and I'm going to just go through it. It's in a really random order, so sorry this video might be a little bit sporadic. So I'm halfway through this pregnancy now, which is absolutely crazy. It's gone so quickly and I hate being that person that loves pregnancy, because in my first pregnancy when I hated it, I hated the people that were like, oh my god, I love being pregnant, but I have absolutely loved it this time. I'm really enjoying it, and I feel a bit sad that it's halfway to being over, even though that's ridiculous because we get a baby at the end. But it's just been really lovely, and it's just made me feel really content and just really excited for the future and stuff. So yeah, thinking about it as being halfway over is kind of sad, because I'm oh, I don't want it to end. But then at the same time, I'm so big already, so big, and I've put on so much weight already that I'm I don't know if I'm gonna feel like I enjoyed the rest of the pregnancy as I get bigger and bigger and bigger, because this is the size that I was with Grayson at 7 months. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it in the third trimester, but hey, we'll see. I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about the anxiety that I have been dealing with through this pregnancy. I'm not going to talk loads about it because I feel like I talked loads about it in my last update video, my only update video, and I feel like I went on about it for ages in that video. So I'm just going to kind of briefly talk about it. But basically it hasn't left, but I kind of feel like I dip in and out of feeling anxious about this pregnancy. Sometimes I'm so relaxed and happy and just oh, everything's gonna be fine, it's all great, it's going really well. And then other days I just feel really anxious, and it tends to be if we have a scan looming around the corner, which I know lots of people get excited for scans, but I get really nervous because obviously they're checking that everything with your baby is developing correctly and that the health of the baby is good, and I just get really nervous for scans. I can't sleep the night before them because I'm so worried that they're going to tell me that something is wrong. But one major difference between the first trimester and the second trimester is that I have been feeling so much movement from this baby, especially actually over the last 3 or 4 days. I felt movement anyway from about 15 weeks, I think it was, which I'm aware is quite early, but I kind of knew what to look out for because of having a previous pregnancy, so I knew that that was the baby. Because I've been feeling so much movement the last few days, I've found that it's really brought my anxiety levels down. It's just a nice little nudge to be hey, I'm alive, I'm still in here. That's really nice, and I'm really enjoying the smaller movements that I'm feeling now, because I remember when Grayson was 6, 7, 8 months, he was really strong and some of his movements were quite painful. So I am really enjoying the smaller movements because I know what they're going to be like when this baby reaches my ribs. I mentioned in my previous pregnancy video that I was getting some tailbone pain. That completely disappeared after about a week. I'm not sure what it was, I think it might have been a hormone thing, but it completely disappeared and I haven't seen it since, so that's good. One thing that has changed dramatically is my energy levels, and I know that most people get tiredness in the beginning 3 months of their pregnancy. I actually felt pretty normal in the beginning 3 months of my pregnancy, and then it was as soon as I hit 3 months the tiredness kind of kicked in, and it varies on different days depending on what I'm doing. I'm usually really busy though, either looking after Grayson or doing some kind of work, or I don't know, it's just, you know how life is, you're just busy all the time, especially as a mother, so it depends what I've been doing. But Usually by around lunchtime I could go for a nap, but I haven't actually had a pregnancy nap yet because I'm usually looking after Grayson and he doesn't nap. So we try to do like quiet time at lunchtime. I'll be honest, it has involved TV, but yeah, we'll just put a cartoon on. Sometimes we'll put a movie on and then we can both just chill for a bit. I feel like he also needs a nap, but he's just really stubborn and he won't take it unless we're out in the car and I'm driving him around, and then he falls asleep. And then obviously that's pretty useless to me because then I'm stuck in a car and I can't sleep anyway. But yeah, I'm finding the tiredness levels quite difficult to cope with, but I tend to, after I've put him to bed, which he normally goes down to bed at around 7, I basically finish up whatever emails or work things I have to do, and then I start getting ready for bed myself, which sounds really lame, doesn't it? But I'll just like have a shower, like get comfy, and then I lie in bed and watch a bit of Call the Midwife. And I generally have been going to bed so early, like literally lights out by like 9 o'clock. And then that way I get like a full, how many hours is that I get? About 9 hours, sometimes 9.5, because Grayson wakes up at 6:30. So I have to do that for survival. Otherwise, I don't think I could get through the day. So I'm just making sure that I get tons and tons of sleep just to survive. Another thing that I've really noticed in the last, I'd say like 3 or 4 weeks, is that my hunger levels are like off the scale. And I know that you're only supposed to consume like, I think it's like something silly like an extra 200 calories a day or something when you're pregnant, but good lord, I am starving all the time. Like I can literally eat dinner and then half an hour later I'll be making like toast or cereal, or because it's Easter I've been indulging in crumpets and hot cross buns, and then I wonder why my bum's got so big already. I'm just hungry all the time. And sometimes I find that snacking on things like fruit and veg, like carrots was a really big thing for me at the beginning of the second trimester. I just loved eating raw carrots and nuts and things like that. But then I started getting hungrier and I found that those things would like fill a gap for a little bit, but not in the same way that like toast or sandwich or something like that would. So I have been eating a lot. My boobs are also massive already. They are like the size that they were when I gave birth to Grayson, and I'm only halfway through this pregnancy. They're going to be like literally under my chin by the time I have this baby, I think. I'm wearing, I don't know if this is TMI or not, but if you're going to watch a pregnancy video, you probably will encounter some TMI. But basically the bra that I'm wearing is the bra that I wore right at the end of my pregnancy with Grayson, and it's too small. I need to go and get refitted. But I'm like scared to see what my size is. I've got a note on my phone that said, for the first 6 weeks of the second trimester, I was basically doing 30 squats every single day. Sometimes I would do more just to kind of like keep fit and healthy, and also because when I get pregnant and I start putting weight on, it literally all goes to my bum and my thighs, and I feel like this time around I've put so much more weight on so much quicker that I thought doing 30 squats a day is probably going to help with the whole pelvic floor growth thing as well. But it can't hurt, can it? But then about 2 weeks ago, I gave up because I was just like, oh, what's the point? What's the point, really? I'm just going to eat loads of crumpets and lie in bed. My next note is that I'm still not brave enough to actually buy anything. I think I'll wait until the 20-week scan. I broke this rule. I didn't really have a rule as such, but like I just felt like I wanted to see the baby healthy again before I bought anything, and I haven't bought much because I've been going through Grayson's old things and there's a lot in there that I still want to keep and I would still use for the baby, even if it's a girl. At 18 weeks I couldn't like resist. There was this little baby grow and it was in the sale as well, and I was like, oh, I don't want it to go because I had my eye on it, and I was like, oh, I might take that one to the hospital. So I bought this little baby grow and it has got little ducklings on it. It's really cute. And then I also bought like a little summer romper and a bonnet. I'm such a sucker for bonnets on babies. Last time around I couldn't find any nice ones, but this time I found a few on like Instagram shops, on like like a few mums that have like businesses on Instagram. I've seen like that they make like hand knit really oh my god, I can't speak. They like hand knit really cute little bonnets. So I think I'm gonna indulge in a few of those, particularly because we're having a summer baby. But it's quite difficult to shop when you don't know what you're having, because most things tend to either be like pink and floral or like blue and stripy. So if anyone's got any shop recommendations for me, I don't want to go too crazy, but it would be nice just to get like a few bits. I'm still getting some headaches here and there, nothing like really painful or crazy, and not very many of them, but I just never normally get headaches. I don't know, I just really notice them when I do get them because they're very rare for me. And I did mention it to my midwife, and she just said make sure you're drinking enough, and that's another thing, that I am constantly thirsty all the time. Like, I literally drink so much water in this pregnancy. Like, I've never drank this much water before in my life. I've also never peed so much in my life. I've got one of those big Hydrate Mate bottles, and I'm just going through them every single day. At night time, I put a full one on my bedside table, and I literally, through the night, I'll drink the whole thing. Like, it's crazy how much water I'm drinking. I think one of my major things for this second trimester has been baby brain, and I know it sounds like an excuse just for being a bit, like, dumb, saying, oh, I've got baby brain. But one of my friends was like, when you said this, I was really interested in it. So I did loads of research, and it's actually a thing. Like, this, apparently this is something to do with the cells in your brain behave differently when you're growing a baby. It's almost like they've got less room to like do normal stuff, and they're just focusing on like making a person. So that made me feel better anyway. But I've literally been doing the dumbest things. Like, this past week alone, I have lost my house keys completely. I have no idea where they are. I think they're in one of my bags somewhere, but Lord knows, I've looked everywhere for them. I've also managed to get myself a parking ticket when I was in a free car park, but you have to put a ticket in it. But only I would get a car parking ticket for £70 in a free car park, because my ticket that I put in the car basically blew over on the dashboard, so they couldn't see that what date or time it was, and I didn't notice. And then the third thing I did was I went to go and buy some like baby like belly butter from a shop. Instead of looking at the product that I was about to purchase, I literally just picked it up off the shelf. I think I was in a rush because I had Grayson on the scooter and he was like trying to scoot around the shop, so it was a little bit stressful. And then I got home, I drove all the way home, I'd done this special trip to get this bloody belly butter, and I realised that I'd bought the tester, and it had like loads of like random people's like finger marks in it and stuff, so I couldn't even use it. It wasn't even like it was a new tester or anything, and I was so annoyed because that was the same trip that I got the car parking ticket as well. So like essentially I was like, I spent £90 and got nothing except like just annoyed. Going back to the tiredness thing, I felt like because I was so tired, well, because I am always constantly tired, and it's all I ever say is I'm tired, I'm exhausted, oh god, I'm so tired. I do kind of feel guilty for Grayson because I'm trying so hard to carry on as normal, and I mean, him and I, we spend most of our days outside for a good majority of the day. I've been trying to like keep doing that, but it is so much more difficult because my energy levels just get lower and lower and lower throughout the day. And I do feel guilty for letting him watch a bit more TV than he should be watching. Just, I feel like he might not be getting as much stimulation from me as he normally would get, but I'm trying to like just chill and give myself a break and be like, you're growing a child, chill out, it's fine. He is absolutely fine. I've written down this note on my phone that says, I had this one night where I woke up and I got so excited about the baby that I literally couldn't sleep for 2 hours. Oh yeah, I went through this thing about, when would it have been? About a week or two ago, where I just had this like sudden realisation that we are doing the whole thing again, and that, I don't know, I just had this little panic moment, even though I had obviously already done it all before, I've had a baby before, I know that I can do it, I'm happy with my parenting, but I just had this feeling where I was like, oh my god, am I doing the right thing having another baby? Am I going to be good enough? Am I up to being a mum to 2 children? And am I going to be a good enough mum to 2 children? And I just had this like freak out day where I was like, oh my god, what's happening? Then that passed, and now I'm like, why did I even do that? Like, I can't wait for this to happen, and I've wanted this for so long that, I don't know, I guess it's like, in a way, I guess I could compare it to like before you get married, because you know that you want it and you've been preparing for it for so long and you're like really excited about it, but there's part of you that's like, this is scary. I guess the last thing is that I have started to think more about childbirth and breastfeeding and those types of things. Because I'm a little bit further along now. I wasn't really thinking about that at all when I made my last pregnancy video, and I really honestly don't know what to do this time about either of those things. In terms of breastfeeding, I think I made a video about breastfeeding way back on my original channel, the Michalak channel. I'll link it down below. I think it's going to be really cringy, and I don't know, I can't watch it, but I made a video about breastfeeding and my journey with it, basically. And in a nutshell, what happened was Grayson had a tongue tie, but they didn't see that at the hospital. So when I was breastfeeding him, he was on there for hours and hours at a time, and I didn't know that that wasn't normal because I'd never had a baby before and no one around me had had a baby. I didn't know anyone with a baby. As you can imagine, eventually my nipples got very sore. They were like bleeding and cracked, and it was very painful to breastfeed. It got to the point where I would be crying when he was feeding. So we had a lactation consultant came round. She basically said that he had a tongue tie and my nipples were like in a right state, basically. So we sorted Grayson's tongue tie out, and then I started pumping my milk into a bottle for him because I just needed my boobs to recover for a bit, basically. Like, they were so raw. This is so much information to share on YouTube. And then I got mastitis as well, and the whole thing was just really stressful, and I felt like it was really like affecting my time with him as a new mother. He was still getting my breast milk, he just wasn't being breastfed, and he was such a hungry baby, like really starving child. And he would literally be drinking like 8 ounces when he was like a month old. I do have my reservations about breastfeeding this time because I'm scared that it's going to be as painful as that. But then I guess this time I will like know to check in the hospital if the baby's got a tongue tie, which I'm kind of assuming it will because it's going to have the same genes as Grayson. But yeah, I'm a bit nervous about it. I really want to do it and I really want to try it. And I feel like because this pregnancy has been so different to my first one, I'm really hoping that breastfeeding will be different to the first time around as well, and that I can really enjoy it this time. But at the same time, I don't want to put loads of pressure on myself to do it. I just don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not opposed to bottle feeding at all. I think it's great that we live in a world where we have the option to bottle feed our children. I would really like to breastfeed. I'm just scared, basically. Like, I'm just nervous that it's gonna be like as stressful and painful as it was before. In terms of giving birth, I had a water birth with Grayson with gas and air, and it was very painful, and I did like hypnobirth and stuff, and it was a 13-hour long labour. And I just don't know whether to do that again and go down that road and like start reading all the hypnobirth stuff again and like get into the zone, because you have to get into the zone. You can't just like go in and wing it. So I would need to like basically start doing that very soon, because I mean, we don't have actually that long left and we're trying to move house in between, which is just crazy. Yeah, I don't know whether to do that or whether to be like, just give me all the drugs. I've already felt what it's like to give birth naturally. I don't know if I want to feel that again. I'm just confused. Yeah, I just really can't decide whether to go natural again or whether to like drug myself up and enjoy it. Anyway, I think that is all I've got to say. I have rambled on for a while. But yeah, basically I'm really enjoying this pregnancy and I'm just really happy and excited, and we can't wait to find out if we're having a boy or a girl, because we're not finding out. Like, it is driving me crazy not finding out, but I really like that we don't know if we're having a son or a daughter. And everyone keeps asking me, oh, what's your preference? What's your preference? And I'm like, I never used to understand when people said, I really don't mind. I used to think, oh, you're just saying that, but you, like, there's obviously going to be a preference. And now I'm one of those people that's like, I really don't mind what we have. I just want this baby to come happy and healthy. I really don't mind. I think it'd be great if Grayson had a little brother, and I already know what I'm doing with boys, and we've got all the boy stuff already, so I'd love to have another son and be like the queen of the house. Even the cat's a boy. I'm so outnumbered if we have another boy. But then at the same time, I would love to experience being a mum to a little girl. It's just one of those things. I would be so happy either way, as long as everything goes smoothly and the baby is healthy. And now I really have rambled on for long enough. I'm going to show you a little bump shot. I'm wearing dungarees, so I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see. There we go. There's my little bump. Halfway bump. I hope I didn't film that whole video with like black all over my face or like smudged makeup, because I do that all the time and then I'm always like, I'll just put it up anyway. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling now, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this pregnancy update. I know that like lots of my viewers aren't pregnant or don't have a family yet or aren't even interested in pregnancy or families, but I really enjoy logging them, and I just think it's really cool to look back on, and like one day the kids can look back and be like, oh, mum was pregnant with us there, and they'll know like the ins and outs of my pregnancy, which will probably freak them out a bit. Anyway, I really am rambling now, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye!